So, Crash Team Racing has recently announced Crash Nitro Kart content, but due to a recent interview, is it possible that there will be even more characters than we initially thought? Let's talk about it! What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with a video that potentially could be very exciting for many people. See, even leading up to PAX East, we knew that things were beginning to get crazy on the CTR front because of random articles and interviews that started floating around after the new trailer dropped showing off retro skins for the PlayStation brand of consoles, along with showing off content from another Crash racing game, Crash Nitro Kart. Unfortunately, a lot of those articles that were being made were in other languages and were not 100% validated in terms of sources. Because of such reasons, some felt that there could be some translation errors and wasn't quite from the correct source. But I talked to the horse's mouth and got the answers that we needed. I asked Thomas Wilson, the co-director at Beanox, if Crunch Bandicoot from Crash Nitro Kart would be in the game. He smiled and confirmed that Crunch would be in Crash Team Racing nitro-fueled. Now, in him saying this, along with a few other things, it opens up an entire discussion and keeps the door open for so many options that it simply excites me to the bone. Confused? You might be, but let me break it down. A few months ago, I released a video talking about 4 characters that I'd like to see added to the game. Tana, Koala Kong, Brio, and of course, Spyro. Now, I was trying to lowball my expectations for new racers because I was unsure as to how much content would be added to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled from the original. However, due to recent articles and this interview, I take back what I said. So there was a French article that was saying that not only would all Crash Nitro Kart tracks would be in the game, but also all the characters as well. Thomas seems to have confirmed all of this in the recent interview, especially after confirming that Crunch Bandicoot would be in the game. That means Zem, Velo, and Entrance would also be in the game. Don't think that that's the end of the video. There's more to dig into here. When the game originally came out, there were missing characters from the original roster that many felt should have made it into the game. Villains like Koala Kong or Brio. My personal theory was that it was a combination of technology and time constraints, but also, if we were to look at all classes of racers, they are almost all equal in number. 4 of each class except for acceleration, which had 3. But nitrous oxide was originally supposed to be in the game as a racer, but was cut later on in production. With an old Game Shark, you can actually access nitrous oxide and even race with him for a bit, which makes me think that he was supposed to be an acceleration character, which would have it at 4 of each class. If they were to add characters like Brio or Koala Kong, who would obviously be an acceleration and a heavy, it would throw the balance off in the whole game as the classes would not be equal in number anymore. Now, like I said, when I made my original character roster video, I was lowballing it. I was not sure how dedicated the team was to adding additional content, as this was supposed to be a remaster. I know and realize that not only are they dedicated, but they are throwing literally everything and the kitchen sink into this game to make it the best Crash racing game to date. Now, during the interview, Thomas said that the game was running on Alchemy, and because the Insane Trilogy ran on Alchemy, assets from one game could be ported over no problem. Now, Thomas said that most assets have already been rebuilt from the ground up, but characters from the Insane Trilogy have been brought over because they're already modeled and rigged. Now, in the mindset of literally jamming as much content as possible into this game and being able to port characters over from the Insane Trilogy, let's get to jamming. Characters that we could see as racers have greatly increased from my original prediction. We still have Crash's girlfriend, Tana, the jacked up Koala Kong, Neo Cortex's formal assistant Brio, and of course, as you know me, I gotta include my purple boy Spyro. I already talked about these characters in a previous video, but let's go more in depth with even more characters. From the original trilogy, we gotta bring in Komodo Joe. I mean, this kinda is straightforward and I think would overall be fairly easy, as Komodo Mo would be in the game as well. This is also similar to like Crash Bandicoot and Fake Crash. To join the adorableness of Polar and Purah, we gotta bring in Baby T. Now, if you are unaware of who this is the dinosaur that Crash rides in some missions in Crash 3. Naughty Dog had confirmed that the little cute dino's name was Baby T after the game was released, which I think would fit the roster perfectly. Up next, I think it would be awesome to have a lab assistant as an eraser. Did I just say an eraser? Up next, I think it would be awesome to have a lab assistant as a racer. I mean, there are hundreds of duplicates, so why not have one as a racer? Now with nitrous oxide and all the Crash Nitro Kart characters together, we have a grand total of 28 racers. Now for fun, I decided to assign each character a racing class to see if it all balances out. In the original, it was 4, 4, 4, and 3, but originally predicted to be 4 across, so let's see if it balances again. I put Spyro as all-round because he is a main character and should be able to be equal with Crash. Tawna would be acceleration because looking at the closest two characters, Coco Bandicoot being a female Bandicoot and Pinstripe being long and lanky, they are both acceleration, so I think it would make sense to make her acceleration as well. Koala Kong would be speed because everyone in speed are heavy characters, and Koala Kong literally looks like he ate all the other heavies for breakfast. Brio would be an acceleration because Embryo and Coco are the techies in the game other than Neo Cortex, so acceleration would fit in his group. Baby T would go with the other cute animals and would have great handling. Komodo Joe should go the route of his brother and be an all-round racer, just like how Crash and Fake Crash are the same stats. Crunch, being the giant musclehead Bandicoot, should be speed like the other meatheads. Looking at Crash Nitro Kart and the stats there, Zem should be a heavy, Zam should be handling, and Velo has overpowered stats, but are almost across the board the same. So obviously to balance the game, he should definitely be an all-round racer. Entrance had hypnotized the small animals and is small himself, so obviously I think he would fit perfectly in the handling category. Nitrous oxide, as mentioned before, seemingly was going to be acceleration, so I would say he fits there perfectly. And last, and well, certainly the least, lab assistant should be acceleration as all the techies seem to be in this category. Now, like I mentioned before, if we tried following the pattern of the original CTR, Naughty Dog seemingly went for a perfect balance across all 4 classes, with the exception of acceleration because of nitrous oxide, who was assumed was going to be an acceleration character, but was cut from the game at least for multiplayer use. So after tallying everyone's classes that I had set and predicted, there would be 7 racers with the speed class, 7 with the acceleration, 7 with the all-round class, and 7 with the handling class. Now, it would seem that we have an absolutely perfect balance for this game and all of the characters in it, as there are 7 across every class. However, I do want to make a point about a certain character, and that character is Entrance. I'm going to admit, I really don't like this character, but that's just me. I find his character is just really bland, its design is really boring, so I kind of came up with 2 more characters that could possibly replace Entrance, or even possibly be future DLC for the game. But these are just my personal opinions, but like I said, I'm not a biggest fan of Entrance. Now, originally I had a pitch for a character that I thought was awesome. I originally looked at all the handling characters and found that 2 out of 4 of the original handling characters could be ridden and were animals. Well, I mean, you could try riding Ripperoo, just you might not get all your limbs back. I mean, look at that face. They don't call him Ripperoo for no reason. But there was one more animal that Crash has ridden before, and that's the boar from Hog Wild. So I thought, what if the last handling character would be a boar? Maybe make him a baby boar to match Purah and Polar, and maybe, name him Hogward? Hogward? Please? But there was one other character that many of you have voiced. If Beanox were to follow fan service and make this the Crash Team Racing for all Crash Bandicoot fans, then it might be best to add Nina Cortex. One aspect I found with all the characters in the handling category is that yes, they are animals, but they are also small. And Nina Cortex, basically being a kid, I think she could fit in the handling category. Or, you could put little Hogward in the game. I mean, look at that face. Could you imagine a baby boar as a racer? Oh, it would be so cute. Goofy suggestions aside, I really can see Beanox just dumping characters in the game en masse because of the fact that the models are already rigged and ready to go, as both games use the same engine. And with all these new characters, the game will still be balanced overall, as all the classes are now equal in number. As long as we get Hogwarts, you know. By the way, a huge shout out to my Patreons and sponsors on the channel. I appreciate your support and letting me be able to do this full time, as I got a family to feed. If you want to support the channel, the Patreon is in the description below, and be sure to subscribe for more nostalgic content. And while you're at it, why not check out another video I recently made? Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.